Thank you very much for joining us in this very interesting session. We will talk from now on increasing the EIT's regional impact. I would like to introduce myself. I'm Begoña Pérez Villarreal, the Director of EIT Food CLC South for Southern Europe. So that means that we are boosting innovation, involving stakeholders from Portugal, where we are. Thank you for the Iberian Nanotechnology Lab for hosting us today, one of our partners. So as I said, we are working with stakeholders from Portugal, from Spain, from Italy, from Greece, from Turkey and Israel. So we support the construction of collaborative projects that will result in new products, new processes, services that will contribute to have a much more healthy lifestyles and a sustainable circular bioeconomy in the food sector. So I'm very honored and pleased to moderate this session, which is aiming at informing on how the different KICs are supporting the regional development through the EIT regional scheme, what we call and known by EIT RIS, and the different opportunities for innovation in each of the sectors. I would like to introduce you our first speaker and the EIT representative, Luque Incorbaja. Sorry for my pronunciation. He's a strategy officer at the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, and he's primarily responsible for coordination the implementation of the EIT RIS by each of the KICs. So the floor is yours, Luque.
Thank you, Begoña. Actually, I have a Spanish surname, so we probably pronounce it the way it should be pronounced, not how we pronounce it after a couple of hundred years of my family having moved away from the Spanish mainland. But thank you very much, Begoña, and good afternoon to you, to the other speakers, and the participants who are joining us. I will share my screen. I hope that you are now seeing my screen. Yes. So thank you, Begoña. Yes, thank you very much. So yes, my presentation today is about the EIT's Regional Innovation Scheme, or the EIT RIS. This has been mentioned quite a few times for those who have been with us since this morning, and quite a few elements of it have actually been already presented. But for those of us who are just joining, or for those who maybe have not really heard about this before, please allow me to go into this in a little bit more detail. So what is the EIT's what is the EIT's Regional Innovation Scheme? So the EIT's Regional Innovation Scheme was set up in 2014, exactly 7 years ago, with the intention of providing additional support to countries which were considered to be moderate and modest innovators according to the European Innovation Scoreboard. The EIT is integral part of the Union Framework Programme for Research and Innovation. Excellence is our core selection guiding principle. However, it was very clear that the EIT also had a mandate to enhance the innovation capacity of all countries, and this new tool was put in place in order to ensure that we can boost excellence everywhere and also widen participation in what we do. How has this been working so far? So the EIT RIS, which is steered by the EIT but implemented by the KICs, has been first and foremost an outreach scheme. It has been sharing and transferring good practices in terms of knowledge triangle integration from the KICs, which are very clear pockets of excellence, to the local ecosystems which could benefit from such support. Secondly, we have been collaborating with regions and countries in terms of designing the small specialization strategies and also undertaking activities aimed at widening participation. Now, how successful or otherwise have we been? So far we have verified data for the first 6 years of the EIT risk. And we know that with an average budget of about 4% of the EIT's funding, the EIT risk has actually achieved a very significant impact. Until 2019, we had 60 EIT risk hubs established in 18 risk countries, including an additional 12 co-location centers. This has now increased to 90 hubs from the latest figures we see. Additionally, in terms of spreading the geographical distribution of the EIT's KICS activities, also the figures are extremely encouraging. So you can see there in my slide over 600% increase in the number of partners coming from risk countries, the number of countries involved increasing by 850%. The funding has also increased threefold, more than 1,500 startups supported, and over 23% of all startups supported by the KICS come from EIT risk countries. There are some of the figures which have come about. I think the map here speaks for itself. The green dots are risk hubs and were established since its establishment. So truly, the EIT risk is doing what it has set out to do. However, clearly we're not there yet. We are, I'll put it this way, far from happy in terms of where we are now and where we want to be. However, the EIT risk is very clearly an excellent avenue for us to reach our destination. And now I'd like to move on to what the EIT risk will look like over the next 7 years. So it will be very significantly enhanced. Firstly, it will become mandatory. So far it has been more of a non-mandatory scheme, although all KICS implemented it. It will also become an integral part of the KICS multi-annual strategies, meaning that in every single aspect of what the KICS do, whether it is education, innovation, or business support and business creation, there will be a risk element running through it. Secondly, we'll continue to support modest and moderate innovation countries, with European Innovation Scoreboard being the only eligibility criteria now going forward. And additionally, we will also support the outermost regions. We'll continue to improve the innovation capacities of local ecosystems. In particular, we will provide capacity building activities. A vast range of these will be implemented, and we'll also encourage closer interaction between knowledge triangle innovators and their activities within the countries. Very importantly, we will make sure that the risks will attract new partners to the KICS. We will do this including by establishing even more risk hubs in order to promote a place-based approach in terms of everything we do in terms of the EIT risk. We'll also work closely with national stakeholders in order to ensure that not only do we establish even closer links with smart specialization strategies, but also we leverage additional private and public funding, including funding from the European Structure and Investment Funds. The budget of the EIT risk will also significantly increase. It will go up to between 10 and 15% of the total EIT grant. And additionally, EIT risk activities will be funded at a co-funding rate of 100%. A few days ago, we published the risk implementation framework. This is a document which will help us guide our KICS in terms of how the EIT risk should be implemented over the next years. The document, in keeping with the EIT's unique innovation model, allows the EIT KICS a high degree of flexibility in terms of how they design their activities, as long as those activities go towards they're fully delivering on the objectives of the EIT risk as included in my presentation. So that's it from my side. I don't want to talk much more. We have two speakers with us who are indeed very interesting to hear from. So, Begonia, back to you.
Thank you a lot, Luke, to settle the scene. And just for continuing, you have mentioned that all KICs cover the different key areas, all the key areas, but as EIT Food as well, I guess other KICs the same, we reach different target audience from students, researchers, public representatives, startups, companies, because all of them, they are vital for making the transformation. So we have two other very important representatives here that represents two of the very important actors of the EIT RIS arena. So as representing the startups, we have Joanna Paiva. Hi, Joanna. I will very briefly present Joanna because she's the inventor of the technology behind the startup ELOF, Intelligent Lab on Fiber. That is a Portuguese and UK-based startup based on photonics and artificial intelligence that helps to accelerate and scale clinical trials. So they have had quite a lot of interaction with EIT Health, funded as well with Microsoft and Mayfield. And she's coming from the university, she's a scientist from the University of Porto and biomedical engineers, and she has been nominated to different prizes and in Forbes and the EIT Woman Annual Award in 2020. So this is Joanne and Eleonora. Hi, good afternoon, Eleonora. Eleonora Marino. She's manager at Prima Industry. It's a company leader in machine and systems with laser technology. Marina is innovation and strategic partnership for the Prima Group. She coordinates innovation projects and strategic partnership for this company. And she's as well responsible of scouting, because she's very keen in supporting open innovation in the manufacturing field. So that is essential as well for RIS and making the connections. So here we have our very important two new speakers, Joanna and Eleonora, and we have some very obvious questions for them. What is your experience with EIT RIS? How did you hear about it, and how you can describe the support that was provided to your companies? Don't know who of the two would like to begin. Joanna, do you begin?
Yes, I can begin. So thank you, Begonia, for the kind introduction. So I'm very honored to be here. So I can start by sharing my experience about the connection with EIT RIS. So as you mentioned, so I'm the inventor of the technology that is behind ELOF, but our partnership with EIT and EIT RIS has begun so as at the moment that I started with this technology. So it was developed within my PhD thesis that was in the framework of European projects that also involved the University of Porto, where this technology was spinned off. So I came up with an idea in 2016 of applying the capabilities of light. That is a low-cost technology, non-invasive, portable, fast, and versatile, and the potentialities of artificial intelligence in order to accelerate the personalized medicine, and together with physicians and scientists from Hospital São João, that is one of the biggest hospitals here in Portugal. So they had a problem at the type that was, they have like a specific type of cancer, digestive cancer, but they understand that applying so the same treatment to those patients, they answer so in different way. So, and they would like to have a technology in order to stratify so patients' profile using a low-cost method. So I decided to invent a technology that based on their blood profiles, based on tiny little structures on their bloodstream, was capable of trying to stratify them using artificial intelligence. So, and then was a technique that was capable of mapping the information that those nanoparticles carry through the bloodstream. So at that moment, it was the time that I tried to translate this technology from the science to the market, and I met my other co-founders, and EIT and mostly EIT Health was very helpful at that time, because through University of Porto, it was possible to disseminate several initiatives promoted by EIT. And I came up with EIT Health Wildcard and EIT Jumpstarter, that were events that help us together with my co-founders to define our business model of this technology, develop proposition, our beachhead markets. And these are current things that we are still using to engage new clients and new investors. And so at the time, we were able also to discuss and do some iterations to the first technology that we had, and culminate in a way by talking with more than 100 stakeholders, from an initial diagnosis method to a certification method to help to accelerate the development of new treatments. So I think that it is a clear experience that must be disseminated in order to an application of all the breakthrough that the EIT risk community could help to accelerate a startup and a spin-off from a university.
Thank you very much, Joanna. I think it's a very good experience that you have tell us. And Eleonora, what are the benefits for a company as the one you are in?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you for this invitation. The experience of my company is different because Prima Industria has always been an innovator in its field. Prima was born 40 years ago, and it is a leader in a part of manufacturing of machines, especially with the lasers. So knowing about EIT was a natural step in order to improve this approach on innovation. And Prima became a founder of a partner of the EIT manufacturing, especially for the manufacturing. The aim was to improve and collaborate in the part of creating tools and initiatives for the manufacturing, and to promote not only the part of innovation, but also the education, business path, business creation, and developments. In the case of the risk, this allows Prima to create a network that goes in all Europe, especially from the risk country, in order to create a strong experience together with the other partners, using this kind of open innovation approach. So in order to view the dynamics and the part of innovation, we were able, together with EIT Risk, to create this kind of network also in the other region, in the other areas of Europe.
Thank you very much, Eleonora. And in the opinion of you, for example, Eleonora, what are the advantages of operating in these in our risk countries where we have vast innovation potential, and how could EIT Risk do more there?
I think that the main point of the risk country is that usually partners, enterprises, and the other actors has a good knowledge, good experience, strong experience, and with the specific competence. The point is that usually these kind of actors are small or medium, so they need to create network in order to provide this, to go on with innovation and to provide their competence all over the Europe. So of course, one of the points that EIT can touch is the part of network and to collaborate with this small enterprise in order to push and support them in the different path and the different phases of the innovation and business creation. The point is to create the part of a profitable innovation for all actors, especially industries that can collaborate with EIT. Also, in the case of Prima Industrie, our company, of course, is a large company, but not so much structured, not so large like the others that maybe can be in Europe. We are roughly 1,800 people, so we know that we need to be strong in innovation, and we need also the collaboration of others partners to go on with the part of doing the activities in manufacturing. So in this case, EIT can support us and the other actors to improve this kind of way for the business creation.
Thanks, Eleonora. And Joanna, what do you think about what are the key advantages of operating in these regions?
So I can share a little bit of my experience. So I believe that this help on the process of the technology transfer of the so the ideas that can grow in the academia to the industry, and try to shape them in order to address the best benefit as possible and impact to the society. I think that is one of the advantage that we can benefit more so to the world. So the dissemination of these initiatives that can be much more closer to the ones that can take the benefit as much as possible, that are the ones that are taking and creating the ideas and translating them from the academy to the industry. So the point that EIT Risk Network, so they have been helping us a lot in order to recruit high quality level profiles in order to increase our team and accelerate our product roadmap as well. And the support that we have been receiving regarding the infrastructure, partner communications, and integration of our team regarding the ecosystem, regarding even the region of the innovation ecosystem here in Porto, where we have our R&D center. I believe that it's paramount in order to accelerate the development of a startup that is in our stage.
Thank you, Joanna. And Luke, you are very quiet for now, but what are your thoughts from EIT on the comments from Eleonora and Joanna?
Yes, thank you, Begonia. I'm quiet because I'm very intensely limited to what Eleonora and Joanna have to say. I have to say it's very inspiring to listen to the great success stories, some of the great success stories which are coming out from the EIT community, and I'm very proud to be part of this organization, which is making a difference not only in terms of unicorn companies, we heard also from some of them this morning, but also in smaller companies, whether of small or medium size, which are really the backbone of Europe's economy. I think what Eleonora and Joanna described fits perfectly well in terms of how we envisage the EIT risk being implemented over the next years. I want to say that we as EIT are extremely strong believers in the great innovation potential which lies within across Europe, but also within the risk regions of Europe. Myself am Maltese. I know some of the difficulties, but also some of the advantages which such countries enjoy. Sometimes the shorter lines of communication, the better ability to network. And I think this is really where the EIT excels. We are able to bring those strengths, those networks together. If you had to, again, invite you to read at least some extracts from the risk implementation document we have recently prepared, you will see that many of these proposals you are proposing are recommended therein. I'm also happy to say that amongst the audience we have representatives from all the KICs who are also listening to you and will surely continue to continue their good work and take you up on your recommendations.
Thank you, Luca. Yes, just to add one thing that I have seen very much and I'm quite proud of in your presentation was that nowadays 23% of the startups are coming from these regions in Europe. So that's something. Okay, and I imagine that we will all agree that the benefits of EIT risk can be magnified if we try to establish a close link with other regional support programs. But we all know that is not so easy as it will as a priori look like. All of us, we know that, and we will see that there is a potential for such collaboration, but my question is more for Joanna and for Eleonora, if you think how we can work out to increase this potential of enlarging the support. Joanna, you want to begin with?
Yes, of course. So I believe that the impact of EIT risk can be so significantly magnified by simulating interaction between universities, big corporates, small and medium enterprises, so spin-offs, startups, so being launched from the academia, because I think that sharing experience and challenges and different perspectives is the key to promote innovation. So sometimes we are on the academia trying to develop a new idea, a new strategy, but we don't have the idea, neither the strategy that probably a big enterprise has, we don't know the impact or the needs from as an overall vision from the whole society. And I think that if we can reduce the boundaries and strengths, so the relationship in order to promote these different overviews between the several stakeholders from the whole ecosystem, we can promote the translation of more technologies from the academia to the industry side. I'm always saying that, but I think that it's the key in order to get more ideas, to get more startups that spin out from the academia side, and to have some solutions that probably the industry is looking for, but it's not yet being successful because they are not working together.
Any thoughts, Eleonora, on how we can strengthen this potential of collaboration with regional?
Yeah, I think that some way we have already some tools. I know that there are different projects, tailored projects, proposal for the EIT risk. So something is already in line, and the work with the EIT risk is in line with also the local and regional strategies. What we can think about is also thinking about the words of Joanna, is to work for promoting innovation at value chain level. So to considering the different actors in the value chains, from the research centers to the final user, in order to improve the whole development of the solution, let's say. That can be in different sectors, but in any case, the solution needs to be found in the actors. The other point that we can consider is the part of supporting the companies in scouting and assess the different technologies. So another step can be to support small, large enterprise and actors in assessing the different solutions and new technologies that can be used in Europe.
Thank you, Leonora. One thing, in EIT RIS, we have a very important organization, or local hubs, what is called RIS hubs, that are really local entities that are very important in addressing the local ecosystem. And Luque, can you explain for part of the audience, perhaps they are not so aware of them, what is the role they play, the EIT RIS hubs?
Yes, certainly. So firstly, how are RIS hubs selected? I think that's one of the first questions. So RIS hubs are selected using open call. The KICs have a degree of flexibility in terms of where to target their hubs based on their own strategic needs. We now have hubs actually based in every single EU member state, and also hubs covering also a number of regions collectively as well. Therefore, these hubs, first and foremost, are a way of ensuring boots on the ground for the EIT everywhere we are. What happens is that the KIC issues a call for an entity which will serve as its hub within a particular area, country or region. That hub will normally be made up of more than one organization in order to ensure as much as possible that the three sides of the knowledge triangle are met. They undertake activities at local level on behalf of the KIC. So they support startups, they undertake trainings, they undertake all type of activities which the EIT undertakes at its core level, but on the local level. The hubs are also essential in ensuring that the KICs can integrate more closely within the local innovation ecosystems. So for example, to pick up on your previous question to the other speakers in terms of synergies, the KIC RIS hubs we see play an integral role in order to help us establish those synergies. So they can identify opportunities for synergies. They can also help us identify the key players, and they can also serve as interlocutors for the KICs in order to establish those synergies and have them implemented. So as you said, the RIS hubs are an essential component of our RIS strategy. We also have the ambition to see some of those hubs potentially grow into co-location centers in the longer term. They're also a gateway to the EIT. So we see them as the primary source how we can engage with local stakeholders and integrate them into what the KICs do best.
And look, now that we are talking about contacting the local and so on, there is a new figure that are the EIT national contact points. How these new figures in each country can support EIT RIS?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Gary. So we're actually very happy that as part of the recently adopted EIT legislative package, the EIT will now have its own network of national contact points. These will be identical to the ones already in operation across all EU member states, associated countries, and also across some third countries as well. The role of the NCPs will be to help local stakeholders, first and foremost, become more aware of what the EIT does, what the EIT has to offer them, and also in terms of the opportunities which are available to them. So the EIT is currently working on perfecting, if I can use such a word, how we communicate with the NCPs in terms of the opportunities we communicate to them, how often, and so forth, in order to ensure that this information reaches prospective applicants as early as possible and with as much information as possible. This, we hope, will allow higher interest from the EIT risk countries in the EIT, will allow more applicants from risk countries to participate in EIT activities, and ultimately ensure that more entities from the EIT risk can benefit of what the EIT has to offer them, improve their excellence, increase their excellence, bring products to the market, turn their lab results into commercial products and services, and turn students into entrepreneurs. That's what we do, and that's what we hope we can do more within the risk countries, also with the help of the EIT NCP network.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Luke. We have a question from the audience that has asked, how does the risk differ from the widening programs, and if there are synergies, how to enhance, or the difference between enhancing the innovation capacity in these regions? I will begin only answering a little bit, and then I will let you, for example, Luca, to continue. I think the difference, well, first, as Luca has mentioned, there is a complete synergy between what we do in all the areas and what we do in Greece. But they are specific programs in Greece that are aiming to specific problems for the region, or specific points that is lacking, that will allow to enhance the innovation capacity and to do in a short time the leverage for the innovation to be equivalent to other regions. So it's more the focus on specific problems in the regions that will help, especially the risk programs too. But Luca, can you complement that?
Yes, Begonia, with pleasure. And this is a very good question, of course. So the first point I want to say is both programs, both initiatives are completely synergetic, completely complementary in what they do. However, they do things a little bit differently. Firstly, the target countries are a little bit different. So the eligibility criteria of both the widening aspect of Horizon Europe and the EIT is a little bit different. So that's the first point to mention, that we don't necessarily target exactly the same countries. Secondly, it's, I think, how we do it and what we do. So the EIT, first and foremost, is unique in the sense that it is the only EU initiative which brings together the three sides of the knowledge triangle. And this is what we will continue to do, and this is what the RIS does as well. So this is not something that the widening can offer. It's, of course, an extremely powerful and important tool, but the EIT RIS is different and targets slightly different things. Secondly, the EIT RIS, as I explained, will now be an integral part, fully streamlined into everything the KICs do. This is not the case for the spreading excellence and widening participation element, which is more of a horizontal program across the three pillars. What we mean by this is that in, for example, business support or business creation activities, which the EIT will undertake specific activities there, targeting the risks in order to allow entities coming from eligible countries, targeted countries, with a degree of additional support. So maybe in a nutshell, there are key differences, but key similarities which allow us to work very closely with our colleagues in DGR today in order to offer a very streamlined and comprehensive package of support to entities based in the eligible countries.
Yeah, as an example, I can think, for example, in EIT Food, we are having a specific program on empowering women in the agro-food area, because we have seen statistically that the startups with women in directive position is much more reduced in these regions than in other areas. So that's, for example, is an area we have now and today, this afternoon, have very good exceptions with Joanna and Eleonora there. So we are very, very lucky to have them there. But it's true that, for example, we observed that in our first years in EIT Food. And so that's why last year we launched this program. I know that EIT Health has done as well something similar. So this is an example. Joanna and Leonora, just to give an advice to the audience, what you will give them, or what advice you will ask them to make the most of what EIT RIS is offering to them? What you will say?
So I can start. So I believe that so an innovator, so by taking advantage from all the EIT RIS could offer, I think that they should start by thinking that while having a highly advanced and innovative technology, they should adapt its capabilities and potentialities to the needs and difficulties of a set or a subset of stakeholders, and they have to select that subset of stakeholders, and they look for mentorship using the IT network. Secondly, I think that communicating and explain so its advantages to the selected stakeholders, it's key, it's very important. And thirdly, communicating the obtained results also compromises its acceptability and also the engagement of key opinion leaders. And that is important, very important to sell your product. So that will be my 3 advices for who wants to be an innovator and an entrepreneur.
Thank you very much, Joanna. And Eleonora, what advice you will give to the audience?
I totally agree with Joanna. Let me to add something about the tools and initiatives that EIT RIS has, because the person and the actors that wants to push the idea by using these different tools can use the part of education, the business creation, and also the part of innovation. So there are different areas that can be used to push the solution, the innovation that the partner has. Let me to provide you an experience from our side. We are working on the additive manufacturing technologies, that is an innovation in this sector. And we need also the part of infrastructure, the skilling and different option of the actors in order to push this kind of process. So in order to share and improve also the part of skilling, the part of business creation, the services, we are working with EIT RIS. And I think that also the other actors that can work with EIT can explore this kind of opportunities with the support of EIT RIS.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Eleonora. We have, I think, is our last question from the audience this afternoon for this panel. I don't know how aware you are about the Interreg SUDOE program. Isabel Rocha is asking, how will the RIS interact with the Interreg SUDOE program funded by the European Regional Development Fund? if there is something planned or whatever. Before, I think that is a question for Luke, but just before Luke is answering, just for as a curiosity, I will say to Isabel that we in EIT Food in CLC South, we are collaborating in an Interreg SUDOE program together with clusters in Portugal, Spain, France, I think Ireland, probably UK, on, for example, building services for SMEs in the agri-food sector together. So this is an example that is not for the future, is in the present taking part. And actually, we are having this week a workshop with our partners. But Luke, do you want to answer?
With pleasure, Begonia, and thank you for the question. I will answer, if you will permit me, a little bit more broadly rather than specifically on this Interreg fund itself, and more in terms of the European regional funds in terms of cohesion and so on. So what we are doing is we are proactively, this is one of those situations where it takes two to tango. So from what we are doing on our side is we are proactively approaching the relevant member state authorities. We are presenting to them what we can do, trying to understand from them what are their priorities in terms of synergies. On the basis of that, we are then developing concrete, tailored proposals, which we are then putting forward to these authorities in the hope that we can then sit down together in order to implement them. Of course, the Interreg is one of those funding which we are also targeting, not only the one you mentioned, but all across Europe. We're also targeting the instrument for pre-accession assistance, which is targeting non-EU member states, but countries within our neighborhood, with whom we are also working very closely. We are additionally working closely with the European Commission, DG Regio, DG NIR, DG RTD, in order to make all this happen. So we are, from our side, trying to be as proactive as possible. Maybe a plea from my side to encourage national authorities also to approach us with ideas, come forward with your priorities. We hope that we will come to you as soon as possible, but of course, please do feel free to approach us, to come to us, to tell us how you see potential synergies being implemented, and we will be very, very happy to look into that and try to make this happen as soon as possible.
Thank you very much, Luke. And so I think we have reached the end of our session. I would like please to inform you that next session we will have now a coffee break. Next session will begin at 16:45, so in about 20-25 minutes from now on. I would like to say thank you to Joanna, to Eleonora, and to Luke for enlarging our knowledge of what this is doing and can do. Okay, thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye.